how dramatically their lives had changed. They had wandered the hills, the valleys, the lake shores of Galilee and Judea. They had practically stormed Jerusalem. They had watched and they had listened as their beloved teacher, Jesus of Nazareth, had lived and taught his soul-stirring message of radical love, compassion, and nonviolence. God's realm was at hand, he told them. It's all around you, and it's inside you. Oh, those were the days, all right. Those were the days. And then how suddenly it all seemed to fall apart. They saw Jesus arrested and handed over to the Romans, and they, his closest friends and disciples, had fled in fear, unable to walk the final path with him to the hill where he was crucified. Terrified, they huddled in the shadows. They hid in the rooms behind locked doors. They waited breathlessly for the knock that would signal their own unhappy end. And then, wonders of wonder, Christ appeared to them, alive. Well, first he appeared to some of the women. And yes, the disciples didn't believe that the women had really seen him. But then he appeared to them. At first they didn't recognize him, but it was Christ, all right. And he presented to them by many convincing proofs during the 40 days. And he spoke again about God's realm. He told them to stay in Jerusalem, to wait for the promise, to be baptized by the Spirit, to receive the power, and to become his witnesses to the ends of the earth. Well, as the story goes, they had returned to Jerusalem from the mount called Olivet, which is near Jerusalem, just a Sabbath day's journey away. When they entered the city, they went to the room upstairs where they were staying. They were constantly devoting themselves to prayer, together with certain women, including Mary, the mother of Jesus, and his brothers. They also managed to pick up a replacement for Judas. And then one day Peter said,
"So how many did you say there are?"
120.
How many?
120.
That's it?
Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
Can't be.
What do you mean?
Well, 3 long years of trudging over Galilee and Judea and a bunch of other places, and that's while he was with us, don't forget. And we've only got 120 believers to show for it?
What's wrong with that? That's not so bad.
Are you kidding? When I think of all the miraculous deeds he performed and the healings and those great teachings everybody loved and the way the crowds cheered for him and followed him around and
People are funny. You know, in the excitement of the moment, they jump on the bandwagon. But then everything quiets down and life goes on.
That's right. I mean, 120 people is pretty good, really. What'd you expect?
Yeah, it's not like we're trying to start a mass movement here or anything.
listen, you saw all the things he did, right? You heard all the things he said, right? You were all standing there when he disappeared into the cloud, right?
Yeah, what's your point?
Well, he also said to wait right here and something extraordinary will happen. Do you believe it?
To tell you the truth, I'm not sure what to believe anymore.
Meanwhile, some of the women were talking among themselves.
I think the men would feel better if they get out more often.
They're too scared to go out.
Too bad. They were so brave and full of life when Jesus was with them.
So were we.
We still are.
I just wish more of us felt as strongly as you do.
We're all brave and strong. Who goes out every day to get food and drink for this bunch? Who keeps watch all hours of the day and night?
True. But I just don't know how much longer we can hold up like this. It's such a strain on everyone.
except them. All they do is sit and talk about how it used to be, how it could have been. You know, they never really understood him. Then they deserted him that night in the garden. Then they denied ever knowing him.
I know. But I think they felt they were in danger too. That's why they stayed away from his crucifixion. They thought they might be next.
Maybe, but well, I guess I think that the Romans, if they wanted any of us, we would have been captured and hauled off away in the night by now.
Exactly. Sometimes I think we should just go out and start telling people what we know and what we saw. We were with him too. We heard what he said. We watched him heal all those people. We saw the crowds and listened to his teachings. And we were the ones who were with him when he died. And I was the first one to see him when he was alive.
Everything you say is true, but I'm afraid that no one will believe us. I doubt that they'll even listen to us. All they'll do is laugh at us.
They laughed at Jesus too, remember? But Jesus took it in stride. I heard him say once that people laugh because they don't understand, and their lack of understanding makes them uncomfortable.
I miss him so much.
So do I.
He said to wait here in Jerusalem. He said that the Holy Spirit would come to us when we have received power. After that happens, then we can go into the streets to be his witnesses.
You're right. I wish the Spirit would come soon. Oh, please, God, let your Spirit come soon.
And when the day of Pentecost had come, they were all together in one place. And suddenly from heaven there came a sound like the rush of a violent wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting. Divided tongues as of fire appeared among them, and a tongue rested on each of them. And all of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other languages as the Spirit gave them ability. And now there were faithful people of God from every nation under heaven living in Jerusalem. And when they heard the sound, they gathered together, and each one heard them speaking in the native language of each. And they were astounded.
They can't believe they're hearing this from a bunch of Galileans like us.
I can't believe it either.
Look at this crowd. Iraqis, Afghanis, Kuwaitis, Israelis, and Palestinians, Turks and Armenians, Kurds, Egyptians and Libyans, visitors from Rome, Greeks and Arabs.
And we could hear them speaking in their own languages about God's deeds of power.
They must think we've been drinking.
And then Peter raised his voice and addressed them all.
Men and women of Judea, all who live in Jerusalem, listen to me. We're not drunk. It's only 9 a.m. No, what you're seeing is what was spoken through Prophet Joel. In the last days, it will be. God declares that I will pour out my spirit unto all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams, even upon my slaves, both men and women. In those days I will pour out my spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I will show signs in the heavens and the earth, blood, fire, and mist, smoky mist. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon to blood. And before the coming of God's great glorious day, then everyone who calls God's name shall be saved.
Listen to that.
You think these are really the last days?
I don't know. I only know that we've been changed. I've never felt like this before.
Nor have I. I knew him when he was with us, and I watched him die. I saw him raised to life again. He changed too. I didn't recognize him at first. Then I watched him go away a second time. Twice I had to say goodbye. And now this. Something amazing is happening. I can feel it.
I can feel it too.
Not long ago, I thought we'd reached the end of the road. I was wrong. It was only the beginning. Could be the beginning of something really big.
Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God.